The restaurant was alive with soft music and the quiet hum of conversation. The scent of fresh flowers mixed with the rich aroma of gourmet dishes filled the air. Diners enjoyed their meals, laughter occasionally spilling over from tables. The place was elegant, yet not too formal, giving a warm, inviting feeling. Among the guests was a man who clearly stood out. His presence was commanding. He wore tailored clothes, expensive watches, and had an aura that spoke of wealth and power. This was a billionaire sheikh, known across the world for his business achievements and generosity. He moved with confidence, and people couldn't help but notice him. The sheikh had come to this restaurant after a long day of meetings. He wanted a quiet dinner, a moment of peace to enjoy the food and the atmosphere. He had invited only a few close associates, and they were seated at a large table near the window, overlooking the city lights. The table was beautifully set with fine china, sparkling glasses, and polished silverware. The dishes served were luxurious, carefully prepared by expert chefs. Every bite was a testament to skill and precision, and the sheikh seemed to appreciate every moment of it. He laughed politely at jokes, nodded thoughtfully at discussions, and occasionally glanced around the room. People recognized him, but most kept their distance, unsure if it was appropriate to approach. The sheikh was used to attention, but he didn't seek it. He enjoyed moments like these where he could just be a person enjoying a meal. He had everything anyone could dream of, yet he often found pleasure in simple things like a perfectly cooked dish or a quiet conversation. As the meal concluded, the sheikh signaled for the check. The waiter arrived promptly, and the sheikh reached for his card. Everyone around watched casually, expecting the usual smooth transaction. But this time, something unexpected happened. When the waiter swiped the card, the machine beeped unusually. The sheikh frowned slightly, swiping again. Another beep, another refusal. A small tension spread around the table. The sheikh, who had faced far bigger challenges than this, was momentarily caught off guard. It was a rare human moment where even someone of immense wealth faced something ordinary and inconvenient. The waiter, polite yet a little nervous, tried to handle the situation professionally. He explained that the card wasn't going through. The sheikh looked at him calmly, nodding but clearly puzzled. He tried another card, then another, but each attempt ended the same way. His companions were surprised but tried not to show it. This was someone who never struggled to pay, someone for whom money was never a problem. Yet here he was, experiencing a small hiccup that was completely out of his control. People at nearby tables had started to notice. The whispers were quiet at first, but curiosity spread naturally. Guests who had seen the sheikh walking in were now observing him more closely. Some were surprised, some were intrigued. They had never imagined a moment where someone so wealthy could face something as ordinary as a card being refused. The restaurant, which moments ago was filled with light chatter, now had a subtle tension, almost like everyone was waiting to see what would happen next. Meanwhile, in the background, a young woman moved gracefully among the tables. She was the maid's daughter, working part-time at the restaurant to help her family. Her presence was humble, her attire simple, yet she carried herself with confidence and warmth. She knew the restaurant well, knew the routine and how to handle difficult situations, and she had learned to notice things others might miss. She was observant, quick-thinking, and kind-hearted. When she noticed the small commotion around the sheikh, she quietly approached to see if she could help, without drawing too much attention to herself. The sheikh, unaware of her approach, continued to try resolving the situation. He remained calm, patient, and composed, but there was a subtle frustration in his eyes. He had never faced a situation where his wealth seemed ineffective in solving an immediate problem. For a moment, the room seemed to hold its breath. The normal hum of activity paused as everyone sensed the unusual tension. The young woman observed carefully. She noticed the polite embarrassment of the waiter, the surprise of the companions, and the quiet frustration behind the sheikh's composed exterior. She understood immediately that this was a moment where a small act of intelligence and courage could make a big difference. Without hesitation, she stepped closer, but remained respectful, waiting for the right moment to speak. Her movements were subtle, natural, and unassuming. She had a clear understanding that in such moments, discretion and tact were just as important as action. She glanced at the sheik, then at the payment machine, then back at the table. In her mind, she quickly assessed the problem and started thinking of ways to help without causing any embarrassment or drawing unnecessary attention. The sheik, feeling a presence nearby, looked up briefly. His eyes met hers for a fraction of a second, and there was a quiet understanding. He didn't know who she was yet, but something about her calm demeanor caught his attention. She was not acting like the other staff who might be nervous or overly formal. Instead, she had a natural confidence that seemed reassuring, even in a situation that could have been awkward. The young woman took a small breath, prepared to offer assistance, knowing that this could be a pivotal moment not just for the sheik, but for herself as well. Other diners, curious but respectful, watched as she approached. She spoke softly, politely, and directly to the sheik, suggesting a simple, practical way to resolve the issue. Her words were clear, and her confidence gave the sheik a sense of ease he hadn't felt since the card first refused. The room, sensing the shift, relaxed slightly. There was no showiness, no grand gestures, just a quiet, smart solution offered at exactly the right moment. The sheik listened attentively, impressed by her clarity and composure. He realized that in this moment, he was not just dealing with a payment issue, but experiencing a glimpse of human kindness and intelligence that often goes unnoticed. The young woman's presence reminded him that wealth alone does not solve every problem, and that sometimes, insight and courage come from the most unexpected places. As the tension eased and a small smile appeared on the sheik's face, it was clear to everyone that something remarkable had just happened. The maid's daughter had handled a delicate situation with poise, intelligence, and humility. The incident, small as it seemed, highlighted the power of human action, the importance of observation, and the impact of thoughtful intervention. It was a moment that would linger in the memories of those present, a rare and meaningful interaction that transcended wealth, status, and expectations. Even the restaurant staff, who had witnessed countless high-profile guests and challenging moments, felt a subtle awe. They had seen people of great influence and power, but seldom did they witness a moment where grace, intelligence, and humanity shone so brightly in such an ordinary yet extraordinary circumstance. The young woman, standing quietly, had become the center of attention without even trying, proving that sometimes, the most powerful moments are those that are simple, human, and sincere. The sheik finally nodded appreciatively, acknowledging her assistance with a polite gesture and a quiet word of thanks. The problem, small as it was, had been resolved, and in doing so, the maid's daughter had captured not just the attention, but the respect of everyone present. It was a beginning, a first chapter in a story that would soon unfold in ways no one could have imagined. Her courage, intelligence, and kindness had set the stage for what was about to become a life-changing encounter, one that would leave a lasting impression on a billionaire sheik and everyone who witnessed the quiet heroism of an ordinary young woman. And so, the evening continued, but with a new sense of admiration in the air. The diners returned to their meals, conversations resumed, yet there was a subtle shift. The story of the card, the small tension, and the remarkable maid's daughter had already begun to weave itself into the fabric of the night, hinting at a chain of events that would surprise, inspire, and change lives in ways no one could yet predict. The young woman, the maid's daughter, moved carefully through the tables, her eyes fixed on the sheik and the small problem that had caused the quiet tension in the room. She didn't rush, she didn't draw attention to herself, yet she approached with purpose. Her mind was clear, focused on helping resolve the issue with intelligence and grace. The sheik noticed her presence, curious about this calm, confident figure moving closer. There was something about her demeanor that made the situation feel less tense, less embarrassing. It was as if she carried a quiet confidence that could calm a room. The sheik had faced countless challenges in his life, from negotiating massive business deals to managing complex international matters. But this simple issue with the card reminded him that life always held unexpected moments. He watched as she paused near the table, waiting politely for permission to speak. Her hands were steady, her posture respectful. There was a sense of self-assurance about her, a subtle yet noticeable quality that immediately caught the attention of everyone nearby. She spoke softly, her voice gentle but clear. She didn't make a show, she didn't exaggerate her importance. Instead, she offered a practical solution, a way to handle the declined card without causing further embarrassment or delay. The Sheikh listened attentively, appreciating the simplicity and effectiveness of her approach. It was not only a solution to the problem at hand but a demonstration of her intelligence and ability to think under pressure. Other diners glanced at the interaction, some curious, some quietly impressed. The young woman's calm, composed manner was in stark contrast to the subtle panic that had spread among the staff moments earlier. The waiter, who had been trying to manage the situation with polite concern, relaxed slightly, grateful for her presence. There was a sense of relief in the air, as if the problem that seemed complicated was suddenly simple and manageable thanks to her intervention. The Sheikh, with a small smile forming on his face, nodded in appreciation. He could see that her solution was practical, elegant, and effective. He realized that true intelligence was not always flashy or loud. Sometimes, it was quiet, thoughtful, and patient. He felt a sense of admiration for her ability to navigate the situation with poise, and for a moment, he forgot about the initial embarrassment he had felt when the card was declined. Instead, he focused on the skill and wisdom of this young woman who had stepped forward without hesitation. The maid's daughter's solution worked smoothly. She coordinated with the staff discreetly, ensuring that the problem was resolved without drawing unnecessary attention. The Sheikh was able to complete the payment without further incident, and the atmosphere at the table began to return to normal. Yet, the impact of the moment lingered. It was not just a simple payment being completed. It was a demonstration of character, intelligence, and courage. As the Sheikh settled back into his chair, he looked at her with genuine curiosity and respect. He had met many people in his life, from high-ranking officials to business leaders. Yet there was something unique about her. She was not seeking recognition or reward. She had acted simply because she knew the right thing to do. This sincerity and humility added a new dimension to the interaction, one that went beyond the practical solution to the declined card. The young woman returned to her duties, moving gracefully among the tables, yet her eyes occasionally glanced toward the Sheikh. There was no arrogance, no sense of entitlement, just a quiet confidence that came from knowing she had done what was right. The Sheikh found himself observing her, intrigued by her presence. He realized that in the hustle and bustle of life, moments like these were rare, moments that revealed true character and the unexpected brilliance of ordinary individuals. Other staff members, having witnessed the interaction, felt inspired. They had seen challenges before, but rarely had they seen someone handle a situation with such intelligence and composure. The maid's daughter's actions were a reminder that problem-solving was not about rank, wealth, or status, but about clarity, thoughtfulness, and courage. Her calm approach had turned what could have been an embarrassing moment into a scene of quiet admiration. The Sheikh, still processing the experience, reflected on the subtle lessons it offered. He had been reminded that life often presented challenges that money alone could not solve, and that wisdom, insight, and courage were sometimes found in the most unexpected places. The young woman had demonstrated these qualities effortlessly, and he felt a growing sense of respect for her. Throughout the evening, diners and staff alike noticed the difference her presence had made. There was a warmth and human touch that radiated from her actions, a reminder that empathy and intelligence often went hand in hand. She had resolved a practical issue, but in doing so, she had also brought a sense of humanity and grace to the room. The Sheikh, having completed his meal and handled the payment, leaned back in his chair with a thoughtful expression. He watched the young woman move through the room, assisting other guests with quiet efficiency and care. Each interaction she had with diners and staff reflected the same intelligence, patience, and humility that had impressed him earlier. It was clear that her character was consistent, and that she carried herself with dignity and purpose. As the evening progressed, the Sheikh began to realize that this encounter was more than just a solution to a minor problem. It was a glimpse into the life of someone who, despite humble beginnings, possessed remarkable intelligence and a strong moral compass. He felt a sense of admiration and curiosity, wondering what other qualities she might possess and what potential she held. The maid's daughter, unaware of the deep impression she had made, continued her work with dedication and focus. She treated every task with the same care and attention to detail, whether it was serving a dish, assisting a guest, or quietly observing the room. Her presence was calming, her actions deliberate and thoughtful, and her ability to handle challenges with poise was remarkable. By the end of the evening, it was clear that this interaction had left a lasting impact. The sheikh had been reminded of the importance of humility, the value of intelligence and kindness, and the power of ordinary individuals to create extraordinary moments. The young woman had demonstrated that courage and wisdom were not confined to wealth or status, and that even the smallest actions could have a profound effect. As the sheikh left the restaurant, he reflected on the events of the evening. He had experienced a moment of vulnerability, a minor setback that was quickly resolved by the presence of someone exceptional. The maid's daughter had turned a potentially uncomfortable situation into an inspiring and memorable experience. Her intelligence, humility, and courage had not only resolved a practical problem, but had also left a lasting impression on everyone present. In the days that followed, the memory of that evening stayed with the sheikh. He often thought about the young woman who had handled the situation with such grace and wisdom. Her actions had reminded him of the importance of recognizing talent and character wherever it may be found. He realized that true intelligence and bravery often emerge in ordinary moments, and that the potential for greatness exists in people who approach life with humility, observation, and courage. The maid's daughter, meanwhile, continued her daily life, unaware of the deep admiration she had earned. She focused on her responsibilities, supporting her family, and approaching each challenge with the same intelligence and calm that had defined her actions that evening. Her quiet courage and thoughtfulness were the essence of her character, and they had left an indelible mark on those who had witnessed them. The restaurant itself became a place of quiet stories and memories, where diners occasionally recalled the evening when a billionaire sheikh's card was declined and a humble maid's daughter stepped forward to turn a potentially embarrassing moment into one of admiration and inspiration. The tale spread quietly among the staff, a reminder that ordinary people often hold extraordinary abilities, and that the right actions, taken at the right time, can create moments of lasting impact. And so, life continued, but the memory of that evening remained vivid. The sheikh, the diners, and the staff carried with them the lesson that intelligence, humility, and courage are found in unexpected places, and that even in ordinary moments, extraordinary acts of humanity can occur. The maid's daughter had left her mark not through wealth or status, but through her thoughtful, brave, and selfless actions, proving that sometimes, the most remarkable individuals shine in the simplest yet most meaningful ways. The young woman returned to the table with quiet determination. She had thought through every possible approach before stepping forward, and now was the moment to put her plan into action. The sheikh noticed her movement and straightened slightly, curiosity lighting his eyes. This was no ordinary staff member. There was something different about the way she carried herself, a calm assurance that drew attention without demanding it. Her approach was unassuming, but it had weight. Everyone at the table sensed that this was going to change the course of the evening. She leaned slightly forward, speaking in a soft voice that was easy to hear yet gentle enough to avoid causing embarrassment. She suggested a practical solution that seemed both simple and effective. The sheikh listened closely, nodding as he understood the logic behind her words. Her knowledge of how to navigate the problem was impressive. She had anticipated the various complications that could arise and prepared a plan that addressed them all without causing fuss or tension. The simplicity of her idea contrasted with the complexity of the situation, making it all the more effective. The waiter, standing nearby, looked relieved as the young woman quietly guided the process. There was a sense of relief in the air. What had been a small moment of tension now transformed into a calm, orderly solution. The sheikh, accustomed to people fawning over him or offering grandiose gestures, was struck by the grounded, intelligent approach of this young woman. There was no show, no unnecessary drama, just clear thinking and action that worked immediately. She worked quietly, making subtle adjustments and coordinating with the staff in ways that were barely noticeable to the other diners. Her demeanor remained humble, her focus entirely on resolving the situation. The Sheikh watched her, fascinated by her presence. He realized that wealth and power could only solve certain problems, but intelligence, observation, and courage could overcome challenges that money alone could not. This moment reminded him of the importance of human skill and insight. As she executed her plan, the Sheikh felt a mix of surprise and admiration. He had seen many talented people in his life, but rarely someone who combined practicality, humility, and courage in such a seamless way. Her actions were not just about solving a payment problem. They reflected her character, her upbringing, and her ability to act thoughtfully under pressure. It was rare to see someone handle a situation with such grace, and it left a lasting impression on him. The other diners began to notice the subtle shift in the room. The initial tension dissipated, replaced by quiet respect for the young woman's actions. Her solution worked flawlessly, and the Sheikh was able to complete the payment without any further issue. The ease with which the problem was resolved contrasted sharply with the initial awkwardness, highlighting her intelligence and foresight. There was an almost tangible admiration in the air, a recognition of her courage and skill. The Sheikh, still absorbing the moment, reflected on what had just occurred. He realized that even someone of his stature could be humbled by unexpected challenges and that sometimes, help came from the most unlikely sources. The maid's daughter had demonstrated qualities that were rare and invaluable. Clarity of thought, quick decision-making, humility, and the courage to act. He felt a deep respect for her, one that went beyond simple gratitude. She had shown him the power of intelligence and kindness in a situation where status and wealth were irrelevant. She completed the final steps of her plan, ensuring that everything was resolved perfectly. The Sheikh, now relaxed, allowed himself a small smile. He realized that the evening had become memorable not because of the food or the surroundings, but because of this unexpected interaction. He had witnessed a moment of true human skill and grace, a rare glimpse of talent and character in action. The experience reminded him that life often presented opportunities to recognize and honor extraordinary individuals in ordinary moments. The young woman, having successfully handled the situation, returned to her duties. She moved gracefully among the tables, her demeanor calm and respectful. Even though she had drawn the attention of the Sheikh and the diners, she did not let it affect her work or her composure. Her actions continued to reflect intelligence, humility, and dedication. Every small task she performed seemed infused with care and thoughtfulness, leaving a subtle but lasting impression on those who observed her. The Sheikh continued to watch her, intrigued by her consistency and character. He noticed how she interacted with other staff and guests, always respectful, always attentive, yet never seeking praise or recognition. Her ability to navigate the world with such poise and confidence impressed him deeply. He realized that this young woman had qualities that could not be measured by wealth or status, qualities that were far more valuable and rare. Staff members who had witnessed the interaction spoke quietly among themselves. They were amazed by the young woman's intelligence and calm under pressure. They had seen many challenges in their work, but rarely had anyone handled a situation with such clarity, tact, and humility. Her actions became a quiet story shared among the staff, a source of admiration and inspiration. The impact of her behavior extended beyond the Sheikh, influencing everyone who had seen her in action. The Sheikh, reflecting on the evening, recognized that this encounter had taught him an important lesson. He understood that life often presented problems that could not be solved with money alone, and that true wisdom and courage often came from ordinary people who acted with integrity and insight. The young woman's ability to handle the situation with intelligence and humility left a profound impression on him, one that he would remember for a long time. As the evening continued, the atmosphere in the restaurant shifted subtly. The diners returned to their meals, conversations resumed, and the hum of activity filled the air once more. Yet, the memory of the young woman's actions lingered. The Sheikh, his companions, and even other guests could not help but remember the grace, intelligence, and courage she had displayed. It was a moment that transcended the ordinary, leaving an impression that would not fade easily. The maid's daughter, unaware of the lasting effect she had made, continued her work diligently. She focused on her tasks with the same thoughtfulness and dedication that had defined her approach throughout the evening. Her presence was a reminder to everyone around her that intelligence, courage, and humility often go hand in hand, and that extraordinary moments can emerge from ordinary actions. The sheikh, as he prepared to leave the restaurant, reflected on the events of the evening with a sense of gratitude and admiration. He had experienced a moment of vulnerability, witnessed a challenge that could not be solved with wealth alone, and seen a remarkable individual step forward with intelligence and courage. The maid's daughter had turned a potentially awkward situation into one of admiration and inspiration, leaving a lasting impact on everyone who had been present. In the days that followed, the sheikh found himself thinking often of the young woman. He admired not only her ability to solve the immediate problem but also the qualities that her actions revealed: thoughtfulness, humility, intelligence, and courage. He realized that life's most meaningful moments often came from the most unexpected sources, and that recognizing and valuing such moments was a rare and important skill. The restaurant continued to operate as usual, yet the story of that evening became quietly legendary among the staff. The young woman's actions were recounted with admiration and respect. She had demonstrated that true intelligence and bravery were not limited to those with wealth or status, but could be found in anyone willing to act with thoughtfulness and courage. Her example inspired those around her to approach their own challenges with the same poise and determination. The sheikh, reflecting on the experience, realized that this encounter had given him a new perspective. He had been reminded that wealth and status, while powerful, were not the only measures of influence or capability. Human intelligence, courage, and humility were qualities that could create moments of lasting impact, shaping memories and changing perceptions. The young woman had demonstrated these qualities effortlessly, leaving a mark that could not be measured in monetary terms. The maid's daughter continued her work, moving through the restaurant with quiet efficiency and grace. She assisted guests, supported her colleagues, and handled every task with care and attention. Her character and actions had already created a ripple effect, inspiring those around her and leaving a lasting impression on the sheikh. Even without seeking recognition, she had become a figure of respect and admiration, proving that true talent and courage often shine in the most unexpected moments. By the end of the evening, the sheikh had gained more than a solution to a small problem. He had experienced a lesson in human intelligence and integrity. He realized that life's challenges often revealed true character, and that moments of courage and insight could be found in the actions of ordinary individuals. The maid's daughter's intervention had not only resolved the immediate issue but had also created a lasting impression, a story that would be remembered by all who had witnessed it. As he left the restaurant, the sheikh felt a quiet gratitude. He had encountered someone remarkable, someone who had demonstrated that intelligence, courage, and humility could create extraordinary moments even in the simplest circumstances. The maid's daughter had turned a potentially uncomfortable situation into an inspiring story of human skill and character, leaving a lasting impact on everyone present and proving that true greatness often comes from unexpected places. The sheikh leaned back in his chair, the evening air carrying a gentle warmth through the restaurant. The city lights outside shimmered softly, reflecting in the windows and adding a calm glow to the scene. Even as he relaxed, his mind lingered on the young woman who had stepped forward so quietly yet so effectively. He realized that the impact of her actions went far beyond resolving a simple payment problem. It was a display of intelligence, courage, and humility, all wrapped into a single, unassuming individual. Her presence had brought a new sense of clarity to the room. The sheikh, accustomed to meetings, deals, and strategic negotiations, was reminded that life's most meaningful lessons often came from unexpected places. He watched her move about the restaurant with care and attention, helping guests with quiet efficiency. Each small action she took revealed a strength of character that was rare and admirable. She was capable, thoughtful, and kind, and it was evident that her actions were motivated not by recognition or reward, but by a genuine desire to help. The sheikh's companions noticed his thoughtful expression and followed his gaze. They could see why he was intrigued. It was not just her intelligence that stood out, but the way she carried herself with dignity and respect. Her actions were deliberate, measured, and considerate, and yet they conveyed a confidence that was undeniable. She had managed to navigate a potentially delicate situation with skill, ensuring that no one felt embarrassed or uncomfortable, including the Sheikh himself. He remembered the exact moment she had spoken to him, softly and clearly, presenting her solution. The clarity in her voice, the calmness in her demeanor, and the simplicity of her approach had struck him immediately. She had not overcomplicated the situation, nor had she acted in a way that drew unnecessary attention. Instead, she had demonstrated intelligence and problem-solving skills in a quiet, understated manner. It was the kind of intelligence that impressed not because it was loud or flashy, but because it was effective, respectful, and thoughtful. The Sheikh reflected on his life, realizing how often he had encountered people who relied on status, authority, or wealth to influence outcomes. In contrast, the young woman's approach was grounded in human understanding, careful observation, and quick thinking. She had acted not out of fear, obligation, or ambition, but out of a genuine desire to help and do what was right. This realization made the Sheikh pause and consider the kind of people he truly respected and valued. Throughout the evening, the young woman continued her duties, her presence quietly commanding respect. She interacted with staff and guests with ease, balancing efficiency and warmth. The Sheikh noticed how others responded to her as well. There was a subtle admiration among the staff for the way she handled herself, a recognition that her capabilities went beyond her title or position. She had demonstrated leadership qualities without seeking attention or authority, and it was evident that she would excel in any situation that required intelligence, courage, and careful judgment. The Sheikh felt a growing sense of curiosity. He wanted to know more about her life, her experiences, and her perspective. He recognized that she possessed qualities that were rare and valuable, qualities that could make a meaningful difference in any environment. In her, he saw a combination of resilience, intelligence, humility, and courage that was seldom found, particularly in someone so young and from humble beginnings. The thought fascinated him. He found himself observing the way she interacted with others. Each movement, each word, each gesture spoke of a maturity beyond her years. She had the ability to read situations, anticipate needs, and act effectively without drawing attention. This was the hallmark of someone who understood people deeply and could navigate challenges with both intelligence and grace. The Sheikh realized that such qualities could not be taught easily. They were developed through experience, observation, and character. The restaurant's ambience continued, but the Sheikh's attention remained partially on her. There was a sense of inspiration in the air, a feeling that the evening had provided more than just a meal. It had offered a glimpse into human excellence. He felt a rare mix of admiration and respect, emotions that were not often stirred in the business world where power, influence, and wealth often overshadowed simple human qualities. He recalled how the young woman had quietly coordinated with the staff to resolve the card issue. Her actions had been invisible to most of the diners, yet they had created a profound effect. She had taken charge of the situation without arrogance, managed the problem without drama, and delivered a solution that left everyone feeling relieved and impressed. The Sheikh understood that this was not just competence. It was character, the kind of character that could leave a lasting impact on those who witnessed it. The Sheikh's companions, noticing his intense focus, whispered softly among themselves. They could see that he was unusually moved, that this encounter had affected him in a way that was both personal and profound. They realized that the young woman had demonstrated qualities that transcended her role, qualities that could inspire others and change perceptions. The Sheikh himself knew that such individuals were rare and that recognizing their value was important. As the evening drew to a close, the Sheikh made a decision. He wanted to acknowledge her efforts in a way that was meaningful, respectful, and appropriate. He did not want to embarrass her or draw unnecessary attention, but he wanted her to understand the depth of his appreciation. He considered how her actions had not only resolved a practical problem but also highlighted human qualities that he admired deeply: intelligence, humility, courage, and grace under pressure. He called her over discreetly, and she approached with the same quiet confidence she had displayed all evening. Her eyes met his, and there was a moment of understanding, a silent acknowledgement of the connection formed through shared experience. The sheikh spoke softly, expressing his gratitude and admiration. He praised her intelligence, her poise, and the way she had handled the situation without hesitation. His words were sincere, heartfelt, and delivered in a manner that conveyed respect and recognition. The young woman listened with humility, a gentle smile on her face. She did not boast, she did not seek praise, but she accepted his words graciously. The sheikh could see that her character was genuine, that her actions were rooted in integrity rather than a desire for reward or recognition. This further deepened his respect for her and strengthened the impression she had already made. He realized that this encounter was not just about resolving a minor inconvenience. It was about recognizing talent, character, and potential. The young woman had demonstrated qualities that were rare and valuable, qualities that could shape her future in remarkable ways. He began to consider how he might provide opportunities for her, ways to support her growth and development while respecting her dignity and independence. The sheikh also reflected on the broader lesson of the evening. He understood that wealth and power could facilitate many things, but they could not replace intelligence, courage, and human insight. The young woman had provided a reminder that true value lies not in status or material possessions, but in character, skill, and the ability to act effectively and thoughtfully in challenging situations. This realization resonated deeply with him. As the restaurant quieted and the evening came to an end, the sheikh felt a sense of fulfillment. He had encountered someone extraordinary, someone whose intelligence, humility, and courage had left a lasting impression. He knew that her potential was immense and that with the right guidance and opportunity, she could achieve great things. The memory of her actions, her demeanor, and her quiet strength would stay with him for a long time. The young woman returned to her duties, her focus unchanged, her demeanor calm and respectful. She continued to assist guests and support the staff, unaware of the profound impact she had made on the sheikh and the other diners. Her actions, simple yet extraordinary, had created a ripple effect, inspiring those who witnessed them and leaving a lasting impression on everyone involved. The sheikh, preparing to leave, looked at her one last time with quiet admiration. He understood that this encounter had been more than a solution to a minor problem. It had been a lesson in character, intelligence, and human potential. He felt gratitude for having witnessed her actions and for the reminder that remarkable individuals could emerge in the most unexpected places. This evening, a seemingly ordinary encounter had revealed extraordinary qualities, and the sheikh knew that the young woman's future held great promise. As he walked out into the night, the sheikh carried with him not only the memory of the dinner, but the understanding that true value and greatness often come from humility, courage, and intelligence. The maid's daughter had taught him that extraordinary moments can arise from ordinary situations, and that recognizing and nurturing talent and character is one of life's most meaningful pursuits. Her actions had created an unforgettable impression, one that would influence his thoughts, decisions, and respect for human potential in the days and years to come. The days after the evening at the restaurant carried a quiet anticipation for the sheikh. He found himself reflecting repeatedly on the young woman's actions, the intelligence and calm courage she had displayed, and the way she had transformed a simple situation into a moment of insight and admiration. He had met countless people of all kinds, yet her presence lingered in his thoughts, compelling him to consider the possibilities that might unfold if her potential were nurtured. The sheikh, a man accustomed to decisive action and careful planning, decided that he wanted to offer her an opportunity that would recognize her talent and character. He reached out discreetly through the restaurant, requesting to speak with her in private. The staff, understanding the gravity and sensitivity of the situation, guided her to the private area without giving away the purpose. She approached with her usual humility, unaware of the significant role she had already played in shaping his impression. When they met, the sheikh greeted her with a kind smile, speaking softly and respectfully. He explained that he had been impressed not only by her practical solution to a difficult situation but also by the qualities her actions revealed: intelligence, patience, humility, and courage. He emphasized that these qualities were rare and invaluable, and he wanted to offer her guidance and support, should she be willing to accept it. The young woman listened carefully, her eyes wide with a mixture of surprise and curiosity. The Sheikh's words were deliberate, thoughtful, and sincere. He was careful not to impose or overwhelm her, recognizing that respect for her autonomy was essential. He suggested mentorship, educational opportunities, or even a role in one of his organizations that could allow her to develop her skills further while maintaining her dignity and independence. His approach was measured, giving her the choice and control over her own path, reflecting the same respect and consideration she had shown throughout their first encounter. The young woman, initially taken aback, took a moment to process the offer. Her life had been filled with hard work, challenges, and the constant need to support her family, and she had never imagined that such an opportunity could come her way. Yet, she recognized the sincerity in his words and the value of the opportunity being presented. She responded with gratitude, expressing her willingness to consider the offer and her appreciation for his recognition of her efforts and character. The Sheikh was pleased with her response. He understood that true potential often lay hidden, waiting for the right circumstances to emerge. The evening at the restaurant had provided such a moment, allowing him to witness her capabilities firsthand. He realized that investing in her growth and supporting her ambitions could yield remarkable results, both for her and for the wider impact she could have on others through her intelligence and character. Over the following weeks, the Sheikh arranged for educational resources and mentorship opportunities for the young woman. She was guided by experts in various fields, allowed to explore her interests, and encouraged to develop skills that aligned with her talents and aspirations. Each day, she demonstrated the same intelligence, diligence, and humility that had impressed the Sheikh, earning further admiration from all those involved in her development. The experience transformed her life. She gained confidence in her abilities, broadened her horizons, and began to see possibilities that had previously seemed out of reach. Her family, witnessing the changes and opportunities presented to her, felt immense pride and gratitude. The impact of a single evening, of one thoughtful and courageous action, had ripple effects that extended far beyond the initial encounter. The Sheikh, observing her growth, felt a deep sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. He recognized that true influence and leadership were not merely about wealth or authority, but about the ability to recognize, support, and nurture talent and character in others. The young woman had reminded him that extraordinary qualities often emerge in unexpected places, and that investing in such potential could create outcomes far more meaningful than any material success alone. As the young woman continued to thrive, she also maintained the humility and grounded perspective that had always defined her. She never forgot the challenges she had faced or the values instilled in her through her upbringing. Her actions inspired others around her, encouraging staff, peers, and even the Sheikh's associates to value intelligence, character, and courage above status or material wealth. Her journey became a quiet testament to the power of opportunity, recognition, and human potential. The restaurant where it all began continued its daily operations, yet the story of that evening became part of its lore. Staff recounted the tale to new employees, not to boast but to inspire. They highlighted the young woman's calm courage, intelligence, and humility, showing how a single person's actions could create meaningful change. The Sheikh himself occasionally revisited the restaurant, always seeking moments to observe and engage, appreciating the reminders of human potential that such encounters provided. The young woman's life had changed dramatically, yet she carried herself with the same quiet grace and humility. She approached each day with focus, determination, and a genuine desire to help and inspire those around her. Opportunities continued to expand, and with each new challenge, she proved herself capable, thoughtful, and courageous. Her story became an example of how ordinary people could achieve extraordinary outcomes through intelligence, humility, and initiative. For the Sheikh, the encounter reinforced important lessons about leadership, influence, and the nature of true success. He understood that wealth and status, while powerful, could not replace insight, courage, and character. The young woman's actions had revealed these truths in a vivid, memorable way, reminding him of the human qualities that make life meaningful and impactful. He felt grateful for the lesson she had unknowingly taught him and proud to be in a position to support her growth. Over time, the young woman began to mentor others herself, sharing her experiences, insights, and skills with peers and younger individuals. She encouraged them to act with intelligence, humility, and courage, demonstrating that meaningful change often comes from simple yet thoughtful actions. Her influence grew quietly but steadily, creating a ripple effect that touched many lives and inspired people to recognize the value of character and potential wherever it may be found. The Sheikh remained a supportive figure in her journey, offering guidance, encouragement, and resources as appropriate. He marveled at the ways in which her natural intelligence, courage, and humility continued to manifest, shaping not only her own path but also influencing those around her. He saw firsthand that true success is measured not solely by wealth or power, but by the positive impact one can have on others through recognition, support, and opportunity. As the young woman's story unfolded, it became clear that one evening in a restaurant, marked by a simple problem and a thoughtful solution, had created a chain of events that would continue to shape lives. The Sheikh's recognition and support had unlocked potential that might otherwise have remained hidden, and the young woman's courage, intelligence, and humility had created a lasting impression that extended far beyond the initial encounter. The story served as a reminder that extraordinary opportunities can arise from ordinary moments, and that the choices we make, the courage we demonstrate, and the intelligence we apply can create outcomes that change lives. It highlighted the importance of recognizing talent and character wherever they are found, and of providing guidance, mentorship, and opportunity to those who demonstrate these qualities. The young woman, now more confident and capable than ever, continued to approach life with humility, focus, and thoughtfulness. She embraced new challenges, developed new skills, and inspired those around her with her character and intelligence. The Sheikh observed her growth with pride and admiration, understanding that this journey, begun with a simple act of courage and insight, had become a remarkable story of human potential realized. The impact of that evening and the subsequent opportunities created a lasting legacy, both for the young woman and for the Sheikh. It illustrated the profound effects that recognition, guidance, and support can have when combined with intelligence, courage, and humility. The story of the Maid's daughter and the Billionaire Sheikh became an example of how life-changing moments can emerge from unexpected encounters, leaving a mark that resonates far beyond the individuals involved.